Hello, lovely souls, and welcome to One Let's Talk. I put up a post about a week ago asking you guys what topic you wanted me to cover next, and I'm so glad that you chose this one. I have been meaning to talk about this for a very long time. So I'm going to give you a different intro this time. Listen to this.
Why so serious? Let's put a smile on that face.
Ooh, it gives me chills every single time. I mean, hats off to the legendary Heath Ledger for playing the Joker in The Dark Knight, may his soul rest in peace, and also the exceptionally talented Joaquin Phoenix in, I think his movie was called The Joker. So today I want to talk to you about why so serious. I want to talk to you about seriousness as a defense mechanism. See, when I was thinking about this phrase of why so serious, I gave it some thought and I realized the level of depth it had and how many of us, myself included, we go through life very seriously. We take everything so seriously and we leave a little to no room for play. We've forgotten how to enjoy life. So, in today's episode, I want to share with you ways in which you can stop taking life and, more importantly, taking yourself seriously, and how you can open yourself up to more play, more pleasure, and more joy. I know that in today's, world of hustling and, chasing the next shiny thing, and we have so much to do in so little time. I'm 100% aware of these things, and it could be a little bit burdensome, if you're trying to make something of yourself, you're trying to create a future for yourself. I completely understand, and I'm not saying neglect your goals and objectives and dreams and, aspirations, but I'm also saying that don't forget to be in the moment and to also live life, to be receptive to all kinds of blessings. Be receptive to fun, at the very least. So it's going to be a very juicy topic, and there's going to be a lot of, personal experiences that I want to share with you in here. So I'm so excited. But first, let me introduce myself. Hi, my name is Patil, and I want to help you free your mind and heal your heart. I absolutely love to talk about these things, by the way. And like I say in pretty much most of my videos, my truths don't have to be yours. If the messages I share with you don't resonate with you, then simply put, they're not your messages. You can just let them go with love. But that doesn't mean that you're not welcome here. You're more than welcome here. Feel free to share your thoughts, your perspectives, your experiences, anything else that you want to share with me in the comment section below. And I will make sure to respond to every single one. All right. Let's jump straight into the video now. I know that being serious for many people, and this was me for a very long time. In fact, if I'm being completely honest with you, I'm just breaking free from it. 2023 is, you could say, my light at the end of the tunnel year. And being serious for many people, it can be a defense mechanism for so many reasons, and most of which they come from childhood. Let me just go over the reasons for you and see if you can relate to any of them. Maybe as a child, you were constantly condemned, you were constantly criticized, and you were rejected for bringing out your playful side, So you learned that suppressing it is much safer. Maybe you heard your mom say, "Get out of here. Can't you see I'm busy? Can't you see I'm working? Can't you see I'm doing this?" And you were all bubbly and cheerful and optimistic. And that kind of crushed your spirit a little bit. You misinterpreted that gesture, the response that you got from mom. Or maybe you learned that the only way that you can receive attention and respect, recognition, or the praise that you deeply crave from other people is by becoming the quote-unquote serious adult that society wants you to be. And this is where phrases like, "I can't take you seriously right now," or get serious come from? That could be another explanation. Or perhaps you have lost touch with your inner child and you don't really know how to reconnect with them. Maybe even in some cases, you don't even feel worthy of that connection. In my case, it was all of the above. So whatever the explanation or the interpretation is for you, I hear you. But there's a common factor, a common denominator in all these scenarios or explanations that I just gave you. And that's you using seriousness as a defense mechanism. See, keep this in mind, anything can be considered a defense mechanism if you use it to keep people out, if you use it to keep life out. The action itself does not necessarily determine if something is a defense mechanism or not. It could be a very positive habit. But if the energy or the intention behind it is to shut the world out, to protect yourself, then that is what I call a defense mechanism. So seriousness in this case is a defense mechanism in these situations. It's a symptom and not a problem. It's just showing you where your core wounding is. So it's likely that you're trying to protect yourself from a potential, quote-unquote, negative outcome. For example, you don't want to be an outcast, so you want to blend in. And the best way that you've learned that you can blend in is by putting on a serious mask, especially within a professional context, right? In your workplace, when you're dealing with big companies, with big businesses, for example. Or maybe you don't want to be a laughingstock in society. You don't want people to think you're crazy, And you most certainly don't want to be made fun of when you're being playful and fun and cheerful and optimistic. People might tell you, hey, what's wrong with you? Or, listen, I'm going to need you to calm down for a second. Or maybe you can hear somebody say, pull it together. We're doing some work. So all these things, I mean, these are things that I experienced myself. It's very understandable why they would push you to use seriousness as a defense mechanism. And by building these walls around your heart, by being serious and having this serious mask on all the time, it comes as no surprise then that you would want to protect yourself because your mind believes that it's trying to protect you from a scary, it's a dog-eat-dog kind of world out there, And the best way that it can do that is by putting this serious mask on. So I get it. I can 100% relate to all these experiences. These are things that I personally went through myself. And I was using seriousness as a defense mechanism to just keep myself safe, to shelter my, feelings, my thoughts and beliefs. I didn't want to be opposed. I just wanted to blend in. I wanted to feel like I belonged. And I didn't want to receive any kind of criticism or any implication of me being rejected in the world. So the golden question is, how do I stop being serious? How can I integrate more play and pleasure into my life? See, I was inspired to make an episode about this because I'm at a point in my life where play and pleasure have become key pillars for my growth. See, I've been in hermit mode for about 5 years. And oh my goodness, I mean, I experienced so many obstacles and hurdles, and I had so many mountains to climb and so many things to unlearn and then relearn. So it had been quite a journey for me. To give you some examples, I failed in business twice. I had a huge following on Instagram at the time, and then the algorithm changed. And I realized that, okay, that's double the work for me. I started to invest more time and energy into creating content. It no longer became a passion of mine. It started to become a chore, an obligation. And the fact that the algorithm changed, from posting pictures to posting videos now, I was discouraged. I felt like, okay, And then after a little while, I completely collapsed and I shut my entire page down. I didn't even announce it to anybody. I just poof, vanished into thin air without even saying anything to anyone, without even announcing this to my audience. And I know that was a little bit unprofessional on my part, but I was so fed up. I felt like I was going in circles, putting in all this energy and focus into my business and barely seeing any results. And the impatient little child in me got discouraged, felt hopeless, felt destroyed, and all I had to do was collapse at that point and just completely surrender. And then I went through my Saturn return, so it happened at the same time. If you've been through yours, then, congratulations. You too have tasted Dante's 10 million levels of hell. It can be very, very exhausting, and exhausting is not even the word. It's you being forged in the fire. Now that's the correct term for it. It's like you're being reborn, rebuilding yourself again and again and again. So many things you need to shed, and so many new traits you need to adopt and integrate into your being. And that includes your shadows, your shortcomings, your flaws, or what you consider flaws and imperfections. It's an entire beast in and of itself. And that's a 3-year process, a 3-year dark, shadowy process that every person will go through when the time comes for them. And then I cut ties with relatives I deemed toxic at the time. I detached myself from all things material because I was on a spiritual path, quote unquote. I was in search of my people. So I had this superiority complex to a certain extent. And I'm like, okay, I want to attract people who think like me, who've been through things like I have, who know what I'm talking about. Or my favorite of all these, I want to attract quote unquote spiritual beings, spiritual people. And here's the most interesting part. The more I worked on myself, on my healing and my growth, the lonelier and the more misunderstood I felt. And I'm like, okay, this is creating a positive feedback loop for me in a negative way. The more, I'm bettering myself and I'm doing shadow work, light work, the lonelier I'm feeling, the more isolated I feel and cut off from the world I feel. And it's only recently, in 2023 actually, that I started to open myself up to life again, to experiences, to adventures, to connections, and to the world as a whole. So, if you find yourself on a similar path, I'm digressing a little bit, but it's okay, this is important. If you find yourself, on a similar path of nobody gets me, I'm stuck, I'm sick of this, when will I catch a break? I hear you. Your feelings are extremely valid. Your experiences are extremely valid. That's okay. Okay, this too shall pass. Just hang in there. You're doing more than okay. So going back to how we can integrate more play and joy and, fun into our lives, how we can enjoy life, and how we can stop using seriousness as a protective, tool. So here are some of the things that I did and what I still do to help me reconnect with my playful inner child and how to take myself and life less seriously. The first thing that I did was that I changed my mindset. I'm not going to keep it vague. I'm going to be very specific on this one because I know that it's going to help and probably resonate with a lot of you. I have 2 anchoring statements that make a world of a difference for me. They always put me at ease. They diminish my levels of anxiety, and they give me hope and power. The first one is this: nobody really cares. Sounds a little bit odd, I know, but nobody really cares. Let me explain what I mean by that. See, people don't really care about what you do and how you live your life. And I don't mean this in a narcissistic, lack of empathy or detached kind of way. I don't mean it that way at all. But it's not like people are sitting around, having coffee and they're gossiping about you 24/7. That's not what it is. Even if they are, let's assume that they are. that they are talking about you, they're saying things behind your back, or maybe they're even saying things to your face, it is still not about you. It's kind of a hard pill to swallow, right? But let me tell you why that is. See, this is a mirror world that we live in. Everything is just a reflection. Whether it's a belief that you have about yourself or about the world, other people, and I promise you, other people are just going to reflect that back to you. So you don't see people as they are. You see them as you are. Yeah, that's why you have a subjective perception of reality. You are looking at the same thing, but you are not perceiving it the same way as everybody else. Yeah, you and I can watch the same movie or can read a book about, let's say, Winston Churchill, but we're not going to form the same opinions about the guy. It's very likely that you are going to see things in this person, let's say positive or negative traits about this person, that you also have within yourself. Whether you're consciously aware of this or not, that's a different story. But that person is just reflecting back to you what you already have within your vibration, within your energetic field. And the same could be said about everybody else. That people don't see you as you are. They see you as they are. Yeah, so in that sense, it is kind of biased. So there is no objective perception of anything. It's very much subjective. It's personal. So this is what really happens. If these people in your life or just strangers or anybody else that you meet, if they are leading, let's say, mediocre lives, let me put it in another way. They're not necessarily happy with their lives. They feel that change is too hard for them, that it's not going to work for them, it's going to take a lot of time, and they don't believe they can actually change their lives. Yeah? If this is what's happening in their inner world, then if they see a spark in you, they see a potential within you, that's going to threaten them. Whether they're conscious of this or not, subconsciously they're going to get triggered by this. So it's much easier then for them to tear you down and to knock this potential that they see in you down than to change their ways in life, than to elevate in consciousness themselves, because the second option requires doing the inner work. And that's not going to be a route everybody wants to take. So it's never really about you, you see. This statement anchors me and gives me power. It gives me hope that, okay, even if they're saying all these things about me, it's not actually about me. It's never about me. So if they're making fun of me, they're insulting me, they're criticizing me, they're giving me unsolicited advice, they're in the way of my growth or XYZ, then that's not about me. It's just that something within me is triggering them subconsciously. They don't feel that they can have this thing that they see in me too. And they don't feel that they're worthy of this thing that they see in me. So it's not about you. So that's my first statement. The second thing is this that really calms me, and it just puts everything into perspective for me. That my stay on this planet is temporary. One day, I am not going to be part of this earth. I will depart from this. This is just the circle of life. Having this in mind, I ask myself, do I want to live my life in fear? Do I want to stress over the smallest inconveniences? Do I want to evaluate my work or my journey in life like I'm grading some kind of school project? And do I want to show myself conditional love this way by constantly, evaluating and grading my experiences in life? Do I want to manage other people's perception of me and have everybody, every living soul on this planet like me? Do I want to shelter myself under a very serious attitude and block out life and fun and joy and play and curiosity and adventure? So I ask myself these questions. I would ask you the same questions. If your answer is yes, then please, by all means, don't change anything. It means whatever you're doing is working for you. But if it's a no, then okay. Remember that one day you're going to leave this earth. So in the meantime, how do you want to live your life? So that was my first point, changing my mindset. And, if these anchoring statements don't work for you, you can just come up with your own anchoring statements, things that they always ring true for you. You can always hold on to those thoughts because they make you feel good, they sound true to you, and they give you some kind of hope, some kind of, strength and power. The second thing that I do to invite more play into my life is that I give myself permission. I love this phrase so much because it does wonders for me. It empowers me. Because oftentimes we think that people or life or circumstances are in the way of our growth, of us living our lives. But in reality, we are the only ones standing in our own way. I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's not. When I say to myself, I give myself permission, it almost puts me in a very powerful position. It puts me in a very empowering state that, okay, why have I, prevented myself or denied myself this thing that I've wanted to experience? So giving myself permission just makes me feel empowered. So give yourself permission to do something crazy, something unusual, something risky, something messy, something playful. Here are some things that I did, and I can tell you some of them sound, crazy and juvenile and childish, but oh my God, I had immense fun doing them. Some of the things that I did, throw ice cubes on the sidewalk. It sounds silly, I know, but it just, something about it was very refreshing and childlike. You can talk to a stranger if you feel like it. You can wave at, let's say, 50 random people when you're driving. You can make funny faces and you can smile, you can wave. You can make a mess doing something you love. I like to cook or bake something, I'm not really into painting or drawing. But if you're into art, then absolutely you can create something, messy. And you can leave a mess actually in the room that you're in your studio, and it's okay. You know that at some point you're going to clean it up, but for the time being, just be messy. Splash some paint around, paint something that makes no sense, unleash your inner child and have fun with it. You can even do that with makeup if you're into that. Other suggestions or things that I did, punching a pillow. Trust me, if you haven't tried that, then you haven't actually lived, because there is next level joy and relief and comfort that I get after doing that. It just, it feels so good. You can have a date night with yourself. You can have a sing-along session in your car, let's say, with your windows rolled down. Just be daring with yourself. You can even go to new places. And this is something that I'm doing, and it is so much fun for me. I was born and raised in Lebanon, and I'm not promoting my country, but oh my God, we have incredible places to visit here. So just the other week, and I wrote about this in the post. By the way, you can read my posts in the community section, because this is something new that I'm trying to share my experiences with you in there as well. And I wanted to treat myself, so I took a break from work and I wanted to act on a whim. I wanted to see new places for 1 whole week. New places to watch the sunset from, new restaurants, new beach resorts, new hiking spots. It was amazing. And I did share some of the photos as well, so you can check those out if you want. And to make matters even more interesting, I even slept out of my house for 2 days at this gorgeous Airbnb. I was like, you know what? Let's do it. I've never done this before. It sounds playful. It feels playful, and it's liberating, and I want to do this. These kinds of experiences, they teach you a lot. They teach you a lot about yourself, about what triggers you, what excites you, what turns you on, where your comfort zone lies. So you get to have a relationship with yourself this way. This was the second point. What's something that you would give yourself permission to do right now? Something that you've always wanted to do. something that you've been told not to do, something that even excites you but terrifies you at the same time. So just ask yourself these questions, and it's going to be something specific for every person. And the third thing that I did is write a letter to my inner child. That's the third way that I can just open myself up to life and to invite more play into it. If I tell you how many journals I have, oh, it's a lot. I love to document things. I mean, I have a dream journal, I have a pep journal, I have an ideas journal. I like to keep my stuff organized and detailed. I'm the exact opposite of my sister. She's not really into documenting her every move. I like to do that. Which is why I'm giving myself permission to, be messy and to break the rules. So you can either write a letter to your inner child, or you can do some mirror work. And what I mean by that is that you stand in front of a mirror and you shower yourself with words of encouragement and affection. Do you want to know what I say to my inner child? It's going to sound goofy, but I'm going to share it. I even play with the tone of my voice because I actually like my voice. I love my voice. And if I'm being very honest, I love my voice. And I believe myself when I say things with conviction and playfulness. So this is what I would say to my inner child. Look at you, you gorgeous little water baby. I adore you. You are the wisest, the strongest, the most adorable bundle of joy I have ever seen. I am so lucky to have you. I love you so much. Do you know that? You are perfect when you make a mistake. You are perfect when you make a mess. You are perfect when you act all silly and you laugh till your lungs give up. You are perfect when you cry, and you are just perfect in every way. I am so proud of you. Your zest for life, your energy for play, your enthusiasm for pleasure, for adventure. You clearly have so much to teach me, you little minx. You are enough. You are more than enough. So this is what I say to myself, and when I say it in a specific way, like I said, I play with the tone of my voice. It makes it so believable for me, and I love it. It just lights me up, So you could just play around with it. You can have fun. You can add your own personality to it. It's gonna do wonders for you, I promise. So there are so many ways in which you can invite play into your life. These are just some of the things I do to help me enjoy life and be present in the moment. See, you can heal your traumas and you can take full responsibility for your life without being serious. Joy, laughter, play, pleasure, openness to pain even, being receptive to pain even, and obviously love, they take us a much further distance than seriousness as a defense mechanism. Before I end this episode, Steve Maraboli, I hope I pronounced your name right. I don't know who this person is, but he's going to take us home with this fantastic quote that I found of his. Listen to what it says. How would your life be different if you decided to give freely, love fully, and play vigorously? Let today be the day you free yourself from the conditioned rules that limit your happiness and dilute the beautiful life experience. Have fun. Give, love, play. Wow, that's next level. And that concludes our episode. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. And now I want to hear from you. How do you stop, being serious in your life? What are some of the things that you do that help you enjoy life? I would love to hear about your stuff, and you can put it in the comment section below. I read every single one of those, I promise. As always, you are in it, but you've already won. Till next time.